I think they should be able to hear me now. That's not bad. All right. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. With frameworks, you kind of want to like already know what you want to do. The moment you decide what you want to do, it's far more easier to choose a framework. And you might not even need a framework, honestly. Like it just depends what you want to do. How did I get so good at coding? Failure, trial and failure constantly. I started programming about 6 or 7 years ago in like 2019. I learned Roblox development. I wasn't too good on it because I had to learn everything on my own. I didn't know what a for loop was until like 3 months after. I was just like copying and pasting code, right? So I went through that multiple iterations of like relearning and relearning. And then I went into Unity dev. The same thing happened. And I was like, yo, I don't really know what's going on here. And I backed out of it. And I think like the moment that it kind of clicked for me was I started doing app development, and I kind of like I already had like background knowledge and programming from school, so I kind of like applied my self-taught knowledge and my academic knowledge and like combined those two together and like made it actual like understanding of programming. And then from there, we're just like basically just practicing every day, right? Let's see. Here it is. Oh. Okay, so we made the entire provider in here. Okay, so we can do this then. Uh, set. It's gonna be a void set hover lineup ID, and then do that. All right. Is it okay to fail? I failed my last test coding. Which like your coding exam? Is it okay to fail? Oh, fail tests. Like you mean like your tests in programming? It depends. Is the test a real test? Because you could write bullshit tests. Okay? I'm personally a test hater type of guy. But it all depends on the context. Oh, shoot. Wait. My thing is, I didn't learn how to code until college, and now I'm on year 3 with no internship. Okay, here for the vibes. That's unfortunate. But the fact you're here means you're locking the fuck in. Like I know like a lot of people like especially if you don't have background programming knowledge is actually just tough because then you have to go through the entire fucking shtick as you're taking other classes, other actual classes in school, and all of that shit. So my recommendation would be Project Max, Network Max, especially in network maxing. I feel like that could help you a lot. So like go to networking events, shit post on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is more or less for fun, but networking events very important. Hackathons, try to be in there. Um, and then third, Leak Code Max, of course, literally what everybody does. Um, Unc, I made a Roblox game and I just hit 33K concurrent users. Yes, good job, Unc. Wait, how did you, low key, you goaded. Holy crap, I could never do that back in my days. I'm at a tech internship career job starter. The senior DevOps says AI isn't taking over, but I don't know. AI is not taking over. Just because of all AI is gonna do is that it's gonna filter out a bunch of like people because now the bar for software development is so much higher, and it takes 10 times more effort to become like junior dev level, and also the fact that it's much more easier to LARP your way and to fake your way to your position, which will end up killing you in the long run. So it's far more easier to shoot yourself in the foot essentially by just like cheating your way with AI and not learning shit. Right? That's really important. Um, Failing your coding exam, boy, it depends. I do have an issue with like institutional programming in the sense that a lot of the times whenever they're creating programming problems, I don't feel like they're making them with the right mindset. And there's a bunch of artificial restrictors that that miss the core essence of programming, and that kind of pisses me off sometimes. Um, try Bloom.io. I tried Bloom already. It's all right. I feel like it's not really that much or that little. Um, what's the IQ of ChatGPT? I wonder. Has anybody done an IQ test for ChatGPT? Do I recommend bootcamp and courses? No, and yes. I would say it depends on whether or not, because my issue with courses in particular is that courses makes it very easy for you to get into tutorial hell. And as somebody who has been in tutorial hell multiple times over multiple different skills, it's really difficult. And so if you want to take courses, I would advise you to only take one very good course and then just start doing stuff yourself. The moment you take that liberty to actually start working by yourself and figuring stuff out yourself is when you're gonna like break away from that. and that's gonna be really impactful, right? Thanks for the follow. I got lucky with my junior dev role, and they teach you everything, so I think I got lucky. I got lucky as well too. So hey, again, also part of getting a job in tech now is like partially luck. Literally, like most of it is luck, and the best way to get a job is like just maxing out your chances to be lucky. Essentially, five figures trust. Yes, we're making it, Unk. Yeah, in my first year of uni, the amount of things I've gotten marks off while being not even wrong the exact way they wanted. Yes, literally. I had a project for my comp sci class last week. It worked perfectly. It passed all the tests. I got points off for not having spacing in between my functions. Like, I mean, literally, like having the lines being like this instead of like this. They took points off for that. And I was like, wow, really? It works, guys. But, you know what? That's besides the point. Who cares that much? Most AIs can have up to a PhD comprehension level. I mean, yeah, I mean they're pretty good nowadays, but it depends on the context and what's going on. Uh, you think I can get a job doing a boot camp? It's your ability to get a job is all up to you at the end of the day, because you are gonna be the one needed to be grinding lead code. You're gonna be the one needed to build like actual projects. You're the one who needs the knowledge and the not only knowledge, but the passion and the drive. Because a lot of people don't understand this, but software development is a labor of love. You really gotta strive and really gotta work and quote unquote toil in order to become a very good software engineer. And so if you have that drive and passion, you'll be fine. You decide your own reality, essentially. Of course, there's like little chances here and there. Like I said, it's partially luck. But if you put in effort, you will maximize the chances of your luck, right? Uh, so yeah. By doing stuff yourself, what exactly does this entail? All right, Zach. Okay, so this is another part I've been trying to hit up, like in general, is that a lot of people will go to college expecting to follow all of like the stuff in college, only doing their work in college, and expecting after the 4 years they should get a job. Currently in the tech space, I wish it was like that. It's not. You have to put extra effort outside of school, not only to learn new technology and learn what's actually going on today, but to also just build projects and get experience. Because a lot of college curriculums, like even depending on the college, it's very different. They could be teaching you stuff that's out of date. Meanwhile, if you go to like a different college, you might be like up to date and you'll be fine with your school projects. You know what I mean? And also like doing stuff and building projects yourself shows initiative, right? It's also like a huge like character thing. You know what I mean? Bro, why no Neo Vim? Bro, I don't. I've been trying to learn Vim for a bit. I tried to do like only do my school assignments with Vim. I kind of fell off that because I low key like started procrastinating my assignments and needed to do them last minute. So I try to get back on that. Like hopefully after spring break, not spring break. After like whatever this scenario is, I'm gonna start locking in back on Vim. I'm currently learning Java in class. Anything else would you recommend to learn as a side hobby? Ryan, it depends. What do you want to do? Think about it. Like, what do you want to create? Like, sit down with yourself and think about that. And then that'll guide towards what you want to learn, right? Because the more you choose stuff to learn related to your passions, the easier it is to learn it and to like stick with it and to become better at it, right? So set yourself up for success, right? Don't just like give yourself a blank slate. You should switch to coding and only in Haskell or fuck you, bro. Bro, Haskell is like Unk languages, bro. I only see that in research papers. That's like banned. Only research paper only languages, bro. I feel like one thing I struggle with and don't know what part of Swede to go into leaning AI ML. Yeah, honestly, that's the thing with comp sci and software, like just comp sci in general. There's so many freaking fields you can go into, and so not having like a background on like what you want to do is very hard. So I would say maybe like tickle your hands a little bit in different parts outside of school and see how you like it. If you're leaning more AI ML, take the jump outside of school and see, hey, am I really enjoying this? Is this what I want to do? Or like take a break and then try to build like a website or something. Just like be, because this is your time to explore. Because the longer you wait to figure out what you want, the harder it's gonna be, right? So right now is the best time. Thank you for that. I would definitely have to sit down and brainstorm. Yeah, no problem, man. Like And if you take that approach and extrapolate it to other areas of your life, it's gonna be way more easier to get anything done in general. Uh, you should learn Go and Julia. Okay, I know Go. I know about Go. What the fuck is Julia? Who is Julia? Is my question. Let's look at this. Uh, what's my view on graphic programming? Hard and cool. I do watch like a bunch of Ace Rolla because I used to be really into like game dev, and I plan on exploring it back in the future. Hopefully, not right now though. I'm a bit like busy, but hard and respectful. I fuck with graphic programmers. Um, but wait, I know what you mean by yeah. All right, I got you. Your brother. How do I learn C++ fast and good? You ask ChatGPT, literally. You say, "Hey ChatGPT, write C++ for me fast and good, make no mistakes." Enter. Boom. You're the god. um, how can I get a forward deployed engineer internship at Palantir this summer? I honestly I don't know. I if I knew, I would have been there. But like on some real notes, I don't know, like connections, go to networking events, try to be in the spaces that those people are as well. Shit post on LinkedIn, I guess. I don't know, just try to be like in those spaces and you can meet people who are working at those companies, I would say. Apart from C sharp, what languages would you recommend I skill up on as well alongside your internship? I mean, it depends. What do you want to go into? Knowing some JavaScript never hurts. Python as well never hurts. So yeah, it's like because the thing about programming is that it doesn't matter like how like how many languages you know because you can always transfer and switch like this on a heartbeat. It might take you like a week of lock in to really get it, but you can switch like this, right? And that's really like the main part. So just go into what you like and get really deep in on the language and you'll be fine. Like who cares? And like I would rather say like instead of what language do I want to learn, what do I want to make? Because oftentimes the language is not the difficult part, it's the entire architecture that comes with it, right? The difficulty of React is not fucking JavaScript. It's the entire fucking ecosystem, how the web works, like DOM, manipulation, server side, like client side rendering, DBs, all that bullshit, like added together. You know what I mean? Um, the Python, JavaScript, I know the logic around actually developing is just like what would be good. I mean, you're doing C sharp already, so I would say learning, yeah, learn some JavaScript. Who cares? And just do some like JavaScript is low key like JavaScript and Python have to be like the most like languages can do anything with, I would say. Dude, why do I use Dart? I use Dart because I am working in the Flutter framework, so I have to use Dart. I felt like the Flutter framework was the best thing at the time, which was like 12 months ago. And sometimes I regret it, and oftentimes I don't. It's a decision I made, so I'll stick with it. One thing I've always thought of for a project idea is to make things to solve issues you have for yourself. Exact. Yo, wait, Ryan, have you been watching my videos? Because this is my exact motto, okay? The best way to get project ideas is to find something in your life that pisses you off and use code to fix it, right? Ryan is low-key in my room right now. He's listening to all of us, right? So yeah, that's my meta. String ID. String ID is null. It doesn't even matter, no? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, how's it going, Swatsik? Thanks for the follow. That's just my motto too for coding. I do it out of spite. Yes, we code out of spite. That is, I mean, that's true grit though. That's true grit. This is fine, honestly. And we can just like go back here since it's being a bother notifier. Oops. Thoughts on Gemini 3? I used Gemini 3 for a bit. I think it's really cool. Although the only experience I've had with Gemini 3 wasn't anti-gravity. I have to say I really did like my experience with anti-gravity besides the bugs they had. Like that's what makes me stop using it. All the bugs they had. I really like their like program flow and the way they had like again when you do the planning phase, you can add comments and like I like the entire way they were thinking about like vibe coding in general and how it should be structured and architected. But the software, the anti-gravity itself, like the actual like IDE was so shitty. I just stopped. And I have used like Gemini 3. I used Gemini 3 yesterday. I actually compared it with GPT-5 in terms of a feature I was trying to implement. And I liked GPT-5's like way of implementing it more because like it just made like more architectural sense. But that was like one-off test, right? I haven't done multiple as well. And also, I still haven't used Gemini 3 for like my daily chats. So I have to like switch over and like check how it is. I've only used Gemini 3 for just pure coding right now. Anthropic, yeah, Anthropic released Opus 4.5, isn't it? Um, I haven't tried it yet. I've heard it's better than Sonnet, and it's like a tad bit. Is it more expensive or less expensive? I don't remember. It's less expensive than the last Opus model. I think that's what it was, right? It was something like that. Now there's so many like models are coming out every freaking day, bro. Have I tried anti-gravity? Yes, I did. I'm not sure if they fixed the bugs, but I ended up stopping. Even though I really liked the way they did stuff, like the entire like vibe coding architecture like thing, like the entire paradigm they had. I stopped using it because it was just buggy, and I was like, bro, like, what's the point of using this buggy like IDE? I'm trying to like actually code. Uh, well, thanks for the share, Goat IQ. That's fine. We just like boop boop boop, and we can call this, and we can set it to null. Boop. Answer answered. Again, if you have any questions, comp sci coding, I'm always here to answer. And then we can do this the exact same paradigm here, except we set it to lineup ID, and we can just kill this right there. Nice. Guys, learn your shortcuts, bro. They literally save lives. Holy crap. All right. Now that we've gotten that done, I'm still trying to figure out why it's using like random data. Because this I was using GPT and Gemini to like test the implementation for a feature I was working on. And this is the code Gemini GPT gave me. I'm trying to like figure out how do I integrate it because I like the way it thought about the issue I was trying to solve, which is this. It's like I have a bunch of different like widgets and like stuff, and I wanted to add a new widget that was vastly different from ways I implement stuff. And Gemini was more leaning towards, okay, modify the base generic types for these and like make them compatible with this. Rather, like what? Rather, GPT-5 was like, hey, this is a separate use case. We have to like make a separate entire model for this so we can separate it from the actual state and not bother it. What rank am I in Valorant? I'm currently plat 1. I haven't played in like a week, so I probably should lock back in. How do you manage agents on anti-gravity? Could you show me? I mean, I just had like a small amount of experience on anti-gravity. I could low-key hop back on again and we can like experiment with it. What model did you use for Z autocomplete and agent? The model I use for Z autocomplete, it's GPT-5 mini. And then for like just like writing in general, I use GPT-5, but that's just because of my biases toward coding. Whenever I'm prompting the agent, I would much more like it to follow exactly what I want it to do rather than go on a long sprawl. That's the reason why I don't use Claude. Even though Claude is like quote unquote much more better in general, it tends to like overdo stuff. Like it tends to go like 10 steps. When I take you to take one step, it takes 10 steps, right? I only want you to take one step, okay, so I can figure out what the fuck is going on. I still gotta learn VS Code shortcuts. Just starting using Mac at the start of school. Yes, bro. Shortcuts are king, bro. Like it literally saves me so much time. Like I'm gonna give you some like free ball game right now. This is like some of the stuff I use on the daily basis. So Command K, Command Shift K deletes an entire line, like just off the bat. You don't even have to highlight it. You just like Command K, it deletes an entire line. Another thing for searching files is Control P, or just Command P for you, and you can search a file. And if you want to do like a function, rather, it's Control Shift P, and then you can search like extensions, themes, or whatever. And what else are the other cool ones? Control I is inline command, inline GPT prompting, and Control Shift I is opening up the typing tab, or whatever. So yeah. Why use AI though? Why not program like a programmer? I am programming like a programmer. I'm just like experimenting with stuff for fun. That is, I'm much more leaning towards my entire like paradigm right now is like I'm like 70% actually programming and like 30% vibe coding sometimes on occasion. I usually do it for stuff I don't care about. My approach is that, hey, if you're writing something that's really important and users are going to be touching it all the time, and it's not something like a simple one-off button, you better not vibe code that bullshit, right? And if you do, at very least, like scrutinize the code and actually do code review. So that's my entire motto with that. Um, the I thought of a project earlier, similar to yours. This thing exists, but none of them are good UX. Uh, which is what will supplement my project. Okay, nice. I mean, I literally went down the same approach, and like the much more the farther I went, um, the quote unquote better it was. So honestly, take the jump and just start a project. I feel like it's all seems so spontaneous, but it could change like that. That's how it was with me. I literally just started this project off a whim at class. I was like, you know what? Might as well just start this. 12 months later, I'm literally right here, right? You know what I mean? Um, Control Shift K to delete a line is goaded. I've been using my mouse to highlight the line. Yes, yes, yes. Control Shift K is absolutely goaded, but I use it like more than anything. You know, in fact, Control Shift K is so goaded that I get annoyed whenever any text editing application does not have Control Shift K implemented. Like dead ass. I genuinely get annoyed because it makes so much. It's like it's so useful just in general, like everywhere. I should set up like a macro for that. That every time I just press Control Shift K, it does that. All right, so we have the ability anchor and we have the agent size. I wonder. Oh yeah, I was gonna like test out anti gravity for y'all. There's an update. Better be decent at least. Yeah. Vibe coding small meaningless tasks is fine. I'm just biased against AI because you see ASM and AI is, oh, well, I guess you're finishing your sentence. But Casa, I do agree, yes. I use ChatGPT to explain stuff to me so I don't have to spend half an hour on Stack Overflow. Yeah, fuck Stack Overflow. As somebody who learned how to program back in the good old days and like doing like especially stuff on Roblox, bro, it was nigh impossible to find info on how to do anything. You would go on Stack Overflow, make a post, 3 hours, nobody replied to you, or the one guy that replied to you like absolutely bullies you out of hell and tells you like basically nothing. It's like you should go die, right? And that kind of sucks. Do I think the CS market is cooked? I think it's cooked, but not because of the reasons people often think. The CS market right now is getting back shots from multiple different angles, and often when people like see it, they are often only looking from one angle. You have to realize that a lot of shit happened, and we're currently like in the moment where it's like all in a boiling point. My first point I would say was the COVID pandemic boom, right? 2020, every company was overhiring. They were literally just hiring just for fun. Interest rates were low. Nobody gave a fuck. And fast forward 5 years later, it's all coming back now. People are getting fired. They realize they're overhired, and the market is getting flooded with the influx of people who actually like know how to code and actually know what the fuck they're doing. And you're also combined with students now who are like competing against fucking actual developers, right? And it's also the fact that there was, I mean, this fact I say is kind of less of a fact, is that the fact that a bunch of CS influencers were telling kids that, yo, go into CS is free money, y'all get in. So a bunch of people did that as well, and some of them became actual good devs, which is fire. I love that. But some people came in with the intention that it was going to be easy. They cheated their entire way through college, and now they can't find the job, and they're cooked, right? So all these different things are adding together and like blowing shit up. People also don't realize that all job markets are cooked right now. Not even just CS. Yeah, literally. Like this is just a very like turbulent time in general, and we've just got to live through it. Honestly. Thoughts on Neat Code crash out? So I haven't watched the Neat Code video just yet. Okay, I've seen it pop on my For You page for quite a bit. So I don't want to say anything wrong, because I have watched a couple of people's like takes on his take, which is weird. So if y'all can give me like a slight context on what is going on, because I know he was crashing out about people not wanting to learn anymore. Like this generation doesn't want to learn or something. Like they want it easy. Like people want them to give them a step-by-step instruction on how to succeed. If is am I getting it right Remount? Because I have some takes on that as well. Duh. Uh, some people were in it just for the money, which pissed me off. much the same in the medical field? Yes, bro. And the thing about like CS is not the type of thing you can do just for the money. CS is like a labor of love, bro. Because you're really like, in order to be a good programmer, it takes a lot of mental like fortitude and really toiling and going back and forth again. Not physically toiling, but you know what I mean. And if you don't have the passion and the drive for that, you will burn out very quickly. And unfortunately, those people are going to get burnt out, and that's going to happen. I believe it's the same for the medical field as well. Like, I know the medical field is a whole different thing. It's like straight actual toiling, right? So most people who are in the medical field actually like really care about it a lot and have passion. I work 10 plus hours a day at Meta, and I love it. See, like some people might not give a fuck about like tech, and they just like hate it. You know what I mean? If you pass the second question full tests, but not all of the question number one, you can still pass the code assessment on what? What am I working on? I am working on my application called Icarus. Icarus is an open source Valorant strategy creator. It's a tool to allow Valorant players, in particular Valorant esports teams, to plan strategies within the game of Valorant, outside of the game, inside of the game, right? Well, inside of the game, outside of the game. Background. So within the game of Valorant, whenever you want to plan really accurate strategies, it's kind of impossible because of the fact that Valorant's a hero shooter with multiple characters, with multiple different abilities that have multiple different sizes on multiple different maps. And so without having a thing that brings in all of that different context into one cohesive space, it's nigh impossible to create strategies. And that's exactly what my application does. Not only does it bring in all of the characters from the game, it also brings in their abilities as well as the sizes and the way they behave within the game. So take an example of this ability right here. The distance in between here and here is exactly the distance between the character and the ability within the game, as well as the way it scales and like the restrictions around it is 1-for-1. So it makes it not very easy to make strategies. And not only that, it adds additional note-taking tools like adding images, like writing text, drawing, and being able to take screenshots and share them with your team and share the files as well so they're editable and all that jazz, right? That's exactly what my tool does. So yeah. Oh, it's so cool. Thank you, man. Thank you. Um, do you have a Valorant production API key? No, I don't. I'm in the talk with a couple of people. I have a friend who's also working on a tool, and he applied for getting the Valorant API key. So I'm waiting up to see if he has any luck on that. If he does, I'll definitely shoot my shot. But right now, I'm trying to get my core features done first of all, so I kind of have more speaking or moving power in that sense. How's it going, Da Vinci? What was my inspiration of that tool? So actually, my inspiration for that tool was there was a tool that did a similar thing for Valorant as well, but it had a myriad of issues. Number one, the UI just sucked. It wasn't built, and keep in mind, it was a revolutionary tool, but because it was such a revolutionary tool, it didn't have a lot of the learnings and from the mistakes it's made. For example, the easiest one I could point out is the fact that all the agents are at the bottom of the screen. So you kind of have to scroll through the bottom to get it, which doesn't make any sense physically because the main point of what you're doing is dragging characters on screen, and Valorant keeps adding more characters, meaning that you keep having to scroll longer and longer every time they add a character, right? And there's also the fact that the application is anti-consumer, and it's not their fault per se. It's just the nature of the application. The application is a web app, meaning that they literally have what? They have to pay for server hosting all the time. So they have to have a subscription. And the issue with that is that you can't save your strategies without having a subscription, right? Which is not crazy, right? Everybody knows that's what just comes with life, right? But the issue is that if you lose your subscription and you've saved your stuff before, you can't open it. For example, take this thing I have right here. I made this strategy about a year ago. I don't know what's in there anymore. It's been a year since I had a subscription, right? I don't know what the fuck is in there. So there. Wait, that's the app with 1,000 users? Yeah, this is the app I have with 1,000 users. I have no idea how the fuck I got there, but I'm really glad I am. So yeah. Java is cancer. Okay, Java is not that bad. Y'all giving Java too much bad rep, bro. Yes, it's verbose, but modern day Java is low-key kind of heat, bruh. Like, give it a chance, bro. Like, give it an honest chance. I hate to say to this day, C was your first language. Holy crap, you're a demon. How did you do that? For your AFE application, did you already have a CS class you took, or did you have to take an assessment? Oh, there's an assessment now? Question mark? Question mark? Oh, they probably changed stuff in it. So I already had CS classes in high school. I think I took a CS class every year of high school, but that's just because I really like CS, right? So that was just me. Um, and in terms of like the CS classes, like crossing over, they really didn't. Like I literally have to take those classes again in college. So fuck my life, I guess. So yeah. Are you hard coding abilities, or do you have a way to update them with the publicly available data? Unfortunately, Twin, we are hard coding the abilities. Why? Because it's literally impossible to get it with public data. So I'm gonna give you some background context and how the fuck I got all this data, right? So this is where all the ability data lives in. I know it's like 1,000 line long. Yeah, I know. That's my fault. I didn't really think about this really early on. Um, but the thing is that for there's no easy way to access the actual in-game data and in-game sizes. The only way to do that is from the Valorant wiki. But the issue with getting stuff from a wiki is that formats change all the time. For different characters, there's different parameters and there's different stuff. So you actually need somebody there, like visually looking at it and figuring out what numbers to pick out, right? So that's why it's like kind of impossible to automate the entire shtick. Um, uh, Java is good if you learn VS Code shortcuts. It makes writing boilerplate a lot quicker. Yes, bro. Shortcuts and snippets literally simple. Um, will I switch to Linux eventually once I get a like better I think once I get another hard drive because like a dual boot because I want to still keep Windows. I still want to play some video games. I still want to be like able to do shit sometimes. But apart from that, there's nothing really stopping me from like switching to Linux. I've hosted Linux servers. I've lived most of my life in Linux for quite a bit, but I've never fully like transferred over. I guess the only downside to hard coding the abilities is having to change things for buffs and nerfs. Yeah, and another thing is that, like for example, for reworks, it's kind of also impossible to auto fetch that data. For example, Harbor data, right? Harbor got his abilities absolutely not Harbor, sorry, yeah, Harbor got his abilities absolutely changed around, and if it was being dynamically fetched, I think it would be nigh impossible for me to like fix that. Uh, yeah, ranges are cooldown changes. Yeah, you got a plate to show. Boilerplate or plate? Whose plate? Plate who? Also, I don't like the fact that for some reason they put the text bar for anti-gravity on the center. Like look at this. It's in the center here. Why? 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 Thanksgiving plate. I just ate a half a cake. So we're not done. We're still in the early stage of Thanksgiving, okay? I just had my appetizer, which was half a cake. Yes, alone to myself. Half a cake. So, you know, we'll get into the later half today. Um, I'm not using anti the boilerplate. That's how you know I'm cooked and coding, bruh. Am I using anti-gravity? Yes, I'm experimenting with anti-gravity again. I'm giving it a second chance because I really like the paradigms and I wanted to give some time in between when it released because when they released they had a whole bunch of bugs, right? And it was just not a good IDE to use in general. So if you guys have any anti-gravity tips to drop, do let me know. I do know like the normal planning feature and like commenting and all that stuff. I've gone through that entire like finagling process, you could say. Will you try Kiro? Isn't okay. Don't get me wrong, but isn't Kiro kind of dead? Question mark? Question mark? Kiro, because they had a whole little shtick early on, and I haven't heard a peep from them after like the initial launch. Yeah, and most of their stuff is much more designed towards what is it? Much more enterprise stuff, like having user stories and all that stuff. And I feel like it's so much freaking boilerplate. I mean, like I already have Opus though, because like I have what? I have Gemini. I have Copilot. Sorry, I have Copilot subscription for free. GitHub student plan. Yes, I love you, Microsoft. Thank you for giving me free money. Learning C before C++ would make it so much easier. Really? Should I get on the hype train and learn C before I have to learn C++ in class? The That's the plan I have in my first C book this weekend. Yes. Oh, like the actual C programming book, like the infamous one. Bro, I can't stop myself from going back to Zed, bro. I think I'm a Zed baby. All right. So the main issue with the current implementation here is the fact that I have to figure out where to place the stacks in widget space. It doesn't make any sense. Um, all the best to you. C is a beautiful language. Yes, C is beautiful. All right, let's look at this. Um, let's go back to oh my god, I have like 3 IDEs open. Thank God for having RAM, guys. If I didn't have a whole host of RAM, I would have been cooked here. Like genuinely. Hopefully, I didn't get any chats on YouTube. I don't think so. YouTube is not bothering me. Okay, good. Have I ever tried PHP? No, not like too much. I did have I dabbled with PHP for a bit when I was doing WordPress stuff, but I was never like full PHP head. Like I never had the chance to even like go full PHP head. So that's just it. Uh, I'll work alongside you. Yes, the meta. We're here to work, guys. What IDEs do you use? As you can see, I have like three fucking four IDEs. No, it's three. Three IDEs open at the same time. So my main daily driver is Zed. Before it used to be Visual Studio Code, but then I like realized that Zed is way just way more performant, and I liked like the entire UI interface and it was pretty cool. So I started using Zed, and then I switched back and forth between Visual Studio Code and I guess anti-gravity sometimes because I really like their AI features and I want to like experiment with them and see how it goes. Yeah, Zen is not vibe coder friendly, and I low-key love that. I'm in love with that. But it does have some pretty cool like vibe coding tools though, I would say. Like I've never the only thing I feel like I'm missing for Zed, honestly, is planning. Zed doesn't have a planning feature, and that sucks right now. So yeah. Oh, not Zen. Zed. Zed. Okay, sorry. My browser is Zen and my ID is Zed, and I always confuse them like 10 times out of like 100 times, right? That's my bad. Zed ID. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is that anti-gravity? Yes, it's anti-chopped right here. Anti-chopped. Well, what would it be chopped gravity? I don't know. But yeah, I'm giving it a second try because I tried it on release. It was buggy as fuck, and we're gonna give it a second try. All right, I want to remember what my freaking packet context was here. So we had it hover state, but the issue here, honestly, is that uh actually, you know what? I'll just do this myself. What's the point of like worrying about this? Because I'm writing down. Go on. Wait, go on what? What are we writing? Okay, 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 okay. So, honestly, I don't think the best case is the best case to use an LLM right now, kind of because I'm mid feature implementation, and I already know what I kind of want to get out of it. Uh, so let's see. But I will tell you one thing that Gemini 3 did make this UI, and it literally one shot the way it worked. Well, I had to fix some parts of it. Well, the entire selection UI it did do well. The part between switching back and forth in selection states, I had to go in and do that because I didn't have context in my entire project. But like the UI part, it did this, which I was pretty impressed by, honestly. What am I doing right now? I'm working on a feature called lineups. So it's a way to allow you to like select a character, select a position, select an ability as well, and then pass that ability and have images attached to the ability. And then once you have images attached to the ability, then you can place the ability down. Whole shtick. Yeah. I'm coding like a caveman right now. I'm out of monthly student tokens. No, bro, I never run out of my student tokens. I'm so glad. I almost did once at a hackathon. But you know, came a clutch. Are you too good at Flutter? I wouldn't say I'm too good. I would say though I am a Flutter contributor. I did contribute to the Flutter repo, so I'm somewhat of an experienced Flutter dev. I would say myself. Uh, so yeah, that's the one thing I'll never stop flexing is that I made a commit to the Flutter repo. Look at this right here. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Um, d- d- all right, let's go. Let's freaking. Oh wait, I want to go back to anti-gravity. I'm forcing myself to use anti-gravity, guys. Well, let me make it so y'all can see what the fuck is going on first. All right. I don't really care for the sidebar that much. All right. I want to close others as well. I just want to be in here, and I want to. My contribution chat is cooked. But why Flutter? Because I'm using the Flutter. Okay, so what happened? Context. The reason why I contributed to Flutter is actually because of the fact that I was using the Flutter framework for my project and I found an issue that was pretty egregious and I like was pissed, so I fixed it myself and I made a PR. That's literally it. So yeah. I mean, Loki, that is an achievement though, because the Flutter repo is literally one of the top 10 repos with the most open issues on GitHub. So the fact I was able to get something through that entire mess, isn't that aura though? Not gonna lie, you cool for providing Flutter. Thank you, man. Thank you. W stream, W stream. Thank you. All right, let's kill this though. Uh, wait, guys, let's see how much RAM I'm using right now. I'm curious. We're using 23 gigabytes of RAM. Damn, not a lot actually. Contribute to a framework you're using is low key or that's what I'm saying. That's literally the meta, guys. Whenever you want to contribute to open source, don't just like go around and look for open source projects that can contribute. Most likely, the best commit, like the best PRs you're gonna make are stuff that happens when you're using something and you like see some shit you want to fix, right? Because that's gonna like you're gonna give the best fix first of all, and the issue is probably gonna be really serious as well. Um, what are we doing right now? We are building my project. It's called Icarus. It's an open source violence strategy creator, and we're trying to like finish up a feature while also experimenting with using anti-gravity, Google's new freaking IDE. I'm giving it a second chance because like the first time it was not all that. All right, so I'm looking for. I don't remember what I'm looking for exactly. I think I'm looking for the lineup widget rather. Lineup widget here. See, this is where I'm supposed to be. All right. Oh shoot, I missed the answer to the question. What question? Uh, which is better, Flutter versus React Native in your opinion? It all depends. That's my thing. Whenever people are talking about frameworks, so frameworks in a large sense, right? Each framework is built to solve a specific issue, right? So before you say, hey, which framework is better, figure out what kind of issue are we dealing with here? What's the scope of our problem? Flutter is much more useful whenever you want to build on like multiple different platforms. And you also know that, again, having like what native UI is not going to be a thing. You just want to have your own custom UI and all that stuff. And you also want to be able to like lean really heavily into like Windows and Mac OS. Then Flutter like will like just be the goat. Flutter is absolutely goated on Windows and Mac OS, but it's much more less like leaning towards mobile. Although it's good at mobile compared to React Native, the main thing that React Native has over Flutter and mobile and on web as well is that React Native actually uses the native code, like the native technologies. So you're not just like simulating like the native experience, it's actually the native experience. So it makes it very easy for stuff like accessibility features, the built-in OS features again with the application itself. And of course for web it allows for SEO. Because the way Flutter works actually is that all the shit you're seeing on my screen is fake. It's all like a rendered to make it seem real, right? So this is like technically a quote unquote 2D rendering engine, like a game engine in a way, right? But it looks and feels like using an actual like native app, quote unquote. About the coding interview and not passing all the tests, uh, P1 but for P2. I mean, it depends, no. I mean, the coding interview or a school assignment. I've lucky lost the plot. And it also depends on the job place. A lot of places will say like they're not really like checking for you passing the test, quote unquote. They actually want you to like what is it? They want you to be able to. I've lost my thought process. They want you to be able to see your problem solving process rather. Yes, rather than you just getting quote unquote the point at that like test or exam or whatever. Thanks for the follow on Nyrith. Also, thanks for follow stock the house as well and Little Harry. All right, let's look at this stuff. Tisk, tisk, tisk. All right. There's a slight issue here because the way we have the mouse region is on the entire stack, right? And the issue with this is that if we have the entire stack like this, we can't have it use the screen position. Why? Because if we wanted to use the screen positions are set in the global space of this entire application. So let me see if I can do some drawing here, right? So right now, this is the entire canvas we're working with. And each ability and each character you're seeing on the screen has a position point right here, right? So it's all in the top left corner. Now we're trying to add a ability or like a feature that has two abilities in one, and it's going to be placed on a certain points, meaning they're going to have two abilities here and they're going to be placed within this wider like canvas, right? So this in itself needs to have a position, but we can't apply the global positions to those positions because in itself it's in a local position that's different. So basically that. Very complicated math like stuff, but it's fine. Uh That's why I've looked like the hardest part about this entire shtick is the positioning stuff. I've been dealing with freaking 2D axis and stuff for quite a bit. Thanks for the follow, Twilight Arcade. Also, thanks for the gift, Cosmo. Let's see. How do you get the 10,000 users onto the app and website? So Risky Void. The way I went about it is called guerrilla marketing. All right, so I pretended to be an imposter. So what I did was that first of all, the initial part of creating the entire application was I was using a different tool, and I saw the entire tool was fucking bullshit, and I was like, you know what? I'll make my own. Now, I made my own in isolation for quite a bit. I spent about a month or 2 months to get it to a reasonably presentable state that I could like start seeking opinion from other people, right? So during that phase, I went to a bunch of Valorant Discord servers that were for people who are really into Valorant and really into strategy planning and like esports stuff. And I literally spent like 3 weeks there, just like being in the Discord and being friends with these dudes. But I also had the project I was working on in my bio. So it was like a slight hint wherever they checked, hey, who's this guy? They can see I'm working on something right now, right? And it took up to three to 2 weeks for somebody to finally mention my project. And since then, it kind of like went like that. All of a sudden it was like organic reactions, and I already had like built up repertoire or like with these people, so they already knew who I was and they could give me valid feedback and they give me more ideas. And I took all these ideas and I refined the application into like even more, and then took it to a public beta version where I uploaded a YouTube video and a Reddit post. The YouTube video did all right, but the Reddit post did a lot right. And that's how I got a majority of my users. And the rest of them, like, I got like 500 users from that. And the rest of them were just organic. Like, I literally have like 2 people joining the Discord every single day, right? It felt weird, but that's just how it worked. This is follow Arinsky. So yeah, very, I would say, non-conventional marketing tactics, I would say. And I guess this is a marketing tactic in itself, if you think about it in context. Uh, all right. Let's see. All right. Again, if you guys have any questions, Comstock coding, I'm always here to answer. It's literally what I'm here for. I'm here to like chat with y'all about all that stuff. Now, I'm quite curious about some things here. Okay, so we realize that the issue is that the positioning needs to be in reference. So you know what? I'm gonna do a shitty solution. Do the shitty solution first before you do the actual good solution. That's my motto. All right. So we're gonna move we're gonna wrap this entire stick in a mouse region. So let's just do that. Wrap widget with mouse region. Is this still the Valorant app? Yes. Yes, the coding dog. We've been on this shit for months. But it's looking a little bit better now. You know, I have pages added. Look at these cool little animations. Ooh, King Von jump scare. These cool little animations and stuff, so you can switch between different states and all that jazz, right? And right now I'm working on adding this feature, which is adding like lineups. So like having single ability and user ability and agent like combos where you have images associated with them in like one little like compacted stick right there. Uh, but yeah, basically the door to door method. That's actually what I did. Surely none of them have malware on them. Okay, okay, Unk. Let's see, let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna copy this code because the code here is right. It's just in the wrong position. Silly GPT doing silly GPT stuff. Well, yeah, it was GPT. It wasn't Gemini that did that. Also, wasn't the usage limits for what is it? The usage limits for what ID is this? Anti-gravity, aren't they like really crazy? Like you can only do like 3 prompts max and then you're maxed out. Cause I did not have money for the entire shtick as well. All right, let's drop. I wonder why it's like trying to get these to be removed. They're part of the IDE. Or I can wrap this in the same mouse region, and then once we have the mouse region on there, and I'll assume it copied the code right. Yep. Okay. So it has good intuition, I would say. Okay. Again, if you have any questions, comp.sci coding, I'm always here to answer. That's literally why I'm here. Also, thanks for the follow, Faceless Coder. Okay, so we got this part done. So I'm just going to save that right there. And we're also going to look into... I feel like after we've done that, we can actually kind of display the entire thing now. Okay, let's do this. All right, let's display it. Let's display the things. So I'm just going to go to Widgets Builder. Placed widget builder. Boom. This is the Dark Souls of everything. This is what renders everything you see on the screen apart from the map. All of the movable characters, and I don't think the drawing stuff is the drawing stuff is on a separate different like code file place entirely. Also, did you guys know I built the entire like drawing system myself? Yeah. I really wanted to challenge myself with this project, so I decided, you know what? I'm gonna build my own drawing system. I shouldn't have done that, but it's fine. I did learn a lot, though. I learned a lot about design decisions because I had a long-running issue, though. Simple one line of code mistake. Oh, bro, I'm low-key repping the wrong gang right now, bro. I'm wearing a hoodie. I did say quarter zips were the goat. That's awesome. Thank you, man. Bro, like, it really was. I feel like the hardest part of it was like the line simplification algorithm, because you can kind of see it. Like whenever I draw a line, you can see how like it's a little bit rough on the edges, but eventually smooths out, and there's still, like even some rough edges here. For some reason, on like lower resolution screens, in particular my monitor, it is just like that for some reason, and on my MacBook, it's not like that. So, I had to like implement a post-processing line simplification algorithm to make the line smoother on finish. So that was a shtick as well. Hey, bro, I've been on quarter zips since before the trend. I don't wear them as much anymore. Exactly, bro. Me and you, Casa, they stole our niche from us, bro. Our culture is not their costume, okay? It's not their costume. We've been doing this since birth, and they just hopped on the trend, bro. Come on, man. Like, we set the trend. Like, hello? All right, let's what am I doing next? Okay, we're rendering this, aren't we? All right, page widget builder. I want to make sure that I'm not running the application from Zed. Yep, I'm just gonna close Zed right now. We're going full anti-gravity build. I'm gonna close Visual Studio as well. We're full anti-gravity right now. Run without debugging. So we're gonna build the application from. It's not their costume, yes, bro. Our culture is not our costume. This is the SF. It's the SF culture, bro. Turtlenecks, quarter zips, rock climbing, running. We started this. They can't copy us. Come on, man. All right. Okay, now that we're actually building the application, I kind of want to create a separate strategy just for the lineup tests. Lineup tests. Boop, boop, boop. And then we create that. Boom, right in here. Look at all the logs. Look at all these beautiful logs. I should probably get rid of them, but that's just fine. Okay. So now this is the raw, fresh application state. This is what you get when you just open and make a new strategy, right? Just blank state, no nothing, right? Um, so what I want to do is I want to go to the renderer, which is place widget builder, and I want to add another layer to the renderer, which would be in the layout builder. We have the drag target, which is part of a column, I believe. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. No, this is the drag target. Okay. And then within the drag target, we have a builder that has a stack. Okay. And then we drop this in here. I mean, well, you know what? Technically, technically I would want a separate stack here. Oh, that is such an issue, but it's fine. Don't worry. Okay. So I would want to wrap this in another stack. Yes, uncle, are we stacking? Yes, we're stacking everything. I want to stack it up here. Oh, wait, but this prevents interactions, though. Never mind. We're putting it in here. Don't worry, guys. We'll put it in this stack, and I think abilities are below characters, if I'm not wrong. Or are they above characters? So abilities are below characters. Noted. Best free API LLM in your opinion? Best free API. Which LLMs have a free API? I think Google's API is relatively generous, but they kind of sucks. I don't know about how the pricing for Gemini 3 Pro is. I think it's pretty expensive as well. So honestly, I don't know any like freaking free APIs. Like the word free, Loki just like wiped my brain. I don't know any free ones. Like is DeepSeek's API free? Uh, I don't remember. How are you gonna monetize it? Okay, here's the monetization plan. All right, first of all, my monetization plan is that I'm gonna have online sync features, right? And the online sync features are going to be free-ish, right? So we're gonna, if it's not too expensive, if it's like literally not too expensive, it's gonna be free. And then we're gonna have paid plans in particular for sharing with teams, like live collaboration and all of that jazz and uploading all that stuff, right? It's gonna be like paid plan. So that's what's going on. Like, oh, like best for like your money and value API. Oh, whew. It depends on your use case. Like if you're doing tool calling, I would say Kimi K2 is pretty cheap. If you're doing if you want really fast speeds and like really fast speeds but high intelligence, I would say Grok Fast is pretty good. If you want just raw clinical like doing stuff, right? GPT-5 Mini is pretty good. It all depends, honestly. How's it going, Red Stories? SaaS is a bad model, to be honest. Subscription services, free open source is ideal, but monetization is necessary. So take me back to the time you purchased a software and it was yours. Yeah. How long? Yeah, like that's the, that's why I low-key started this project as a free and open source like thing. But I realized that if I'm gonna end up working on it for a long ass time, I better like get money in some kind of way. I mean, the offline features are always still gonna be like open. Like that's my motto. It's like, hey, if it doesn't cost me money, I'm not gonna charge you. Okay, that's my entire motto. So if it costs me money, then damn well you will be charged. That's just it. Um, how long have you been working on this project for? Uh, I've been working on it for like 12 months. Alrighty. Let's see this right here. All right, so we have these right here. Let me just make sure. Oh, that makes so much sense. Maybe go Patreon route. You could also charge differently for orgs versus people. I was also thinking that because orgs definitely have the money, like just dead ass. Like I don't, but they do. Like individual people as well don't have money, so that's probably the best route to go for that. Uh, yeah. Sometimes motivation is the biggest problem for me. Just staring at the code editor and doing nothing. Yeah, like, but I feel like you can over the fact you're at the code editor is also like the first big step. I think coming to the code editor with something in mind is really important, and trying to like fragment your problems into tiny little pieces so you can work with it is really important as well. Do you multitask and work on side projects, or do you put most of yourself focus into this? I do multitask. As you can see, my commits for these for like Icarus in particular has been a bit lax lately, and that's because I've been working on another thing for a hackathon I went to, and I've been like slowly grinding and chipping at that for a bit. But I've only had like two projects up at the same time max. Like it's never been like more than that. And when I do take a break from like Icarus, I fully finish the like little tiny project. For example, I went on a little like tangent to build this, which was linked thing, which is a LinkedIn banner generator I built, and I needed a way to be able to like make a custom LinkedIn banner for myself. So I built this tool to let me like make it and download stuff on it. What state management package do you use? Riverpod all the way. Riverpod since day one. Riverpod since day death, essentially. Working on a small Windows portable executable parser right now with the GUI programmed entirely in C and assembly. Yes, you are the champion. Holy crap, that's actually crazy work. Oh, that's a meme template. Okay, because I was looking like, holy crap already. It's fun so far. I guess I gotta figure out a niche though. Bro got the evil Vaughn banner. No, Loki, I'm trying to bring the King Vaughn meme back. Is that crazy? Is that crazy that I want to bring it back? Uh, All right, let's look at this though. Let's look at this. Okay, I want to go up here and figure out. Oh, I want to do rendering. I want to do rendering, and then we can figure out the rest. So positioned, uh, dot fill, and then we wrap this entire thing with the child, and the child is going to be a. It's going to be a stack that listens. Oh, stack, stack, stack. It's actually going to be a. Is it going to be a stack? It's going to be a stack. It's going to be a stack. I know this is like really bad paradigms, and I should probably fix it. I'll fix it eventually when it's worth fixing. You use a block for state management? Nah, Riverpod all the way, twin. Um, King Vaughn could have been the biggest malware dev in all of Chirac and shut down all his ops with rootkits SMH. Exactly. He could have hacked into Biomon, bro. Like some straight cyberpunk shit. Like been a net runner and just like zero them out. What app am I making? I'm working on Icarus right now. Icarus is an open source Valorant strategy creator tool. It's a tool to allow Valorant players, Valorant esports teams in particular, to be able to play strategies within the game of Valorant, outside of the game of Valorant, right? Which is really, really important and ideal. Alrighty, let's look at this right here. So I want to have position.fill, blah, blah, blah. Let's add, okay, we're not going to add const to it. Sorry, my brain was still thinking mentally. It's gonna be for ref. Okay, yeah, for final lineup. Well, final lineup and ref dot read, ref dot watch, line up provider. Dot, and I guess we're looking for the rest of the list, and then we go through here. We dot and we're looking for what in particular. Oh, it's mad at me because it's not defined. Import library. Okay, now it's defined. And then we go lineups and do lineup widget lineup, and then we port the library, and this should theoretically display the lineups, hopefully. I'm curious to see if it works in actuality though. So let's take this. We're gonna drop this character here, and we're gonna drop the ability here, and then we're gonna go to the next part, and then we're just gonna do click done. Boom! It actually showed up. That's so sick. Okay, we are like pretty far in now. The fact that these two showed up and it has their states as well. I wonder how. Oh, that's really bad. The issue with this now is that the way it interacts with the different app, like the different ones. Okay, so I know how to fix that. So the way to fix this issue, honestly, is that we need to change the core widgets themselves, because we only want the. Do we only want the character? I feel like we need to have the ability and the character as well display that like state. So we want to have the hover selection not on the entire like character right here, but this little tiny points you see here. That means I have to change the entire like way I'm drawing and displaying this, which sucks. but it is what it is. That's how life rolls, honestly. Okay. So it seems like Gemini was right for a certain portion of things because I will have to modify the generics because I had this like go through again. I went with GPT-5 and Gemini, and I rubber ducked back and forth with both of them because I was trying to figure out how do I implement this feature. And Gemini was saying, "Hey, you've got to change the actual like generics that you have here that are building everything on screen." And GPT was saying, "Hey, you can just add stuff on the side and it'll be fine." And I leaned more towards GBT's side, and I'm kind of seeing why Gemini said what Gemini did say, right? And it's this issue right here. Um, what other Flutter Dart projects do you have? I have like three Flutter, well, two more Flutter Dart projects that are actually fully complete and have like are real applications. The rest of them are just stuff I've left by the wayside and like ignored. Uh, so we have this is okay. So this is Icarus. This is the grade calculator I built for my school system because my school system only had a Google Sheet for calculating grades, and we had a very, very complicated like the grading policy. So I was pissed, and I made this myself. And then this was the project I used to learn how to make Flutter apps in the first place. It's very, very horrible. I wouldn't advise anybody to look at it. It's literally horrible. So yeah, so yeah, that's basically it. And then I also have other projects that died by the wayside. That's basically it. Du- du- du. Alrighty, so next on the agenda, I'm so glad we actually got something displaying because all of this while I have been thinking really deeply about how this is supposed to be implemented, and I haven't even gotten a visual of it. Right, so now having a visual makes it seem like, hey, all my efforts are not going in vain, and I can kind of adapt this into like something I can use. Uh, did you focus on something specific when making projects? Okay, so when making projects, I focus on, hey, the entire way I even get the idea to build a project is that I have a motto, which is find something in my life that pisses me off and use code to fix it, right? And so the way I went through that entire shtick is that I literally find something in my life, I use code to fix it, right? But I also focus on another thing. Depends on the concept of the project. Do I want to get this as fast as possible out, or do I want to have fun through the process? If I want to have fun through the process, I'm gonna be like sitting down and really like digging through deep in and like figuring out how to write things the right way and learning a lot from it. But if I'm trying to get it out as fast as possible, then I'm just gonna take a bunch of shortcuts, right? So those two little ideas you have to tackle with and figure out what you want. How do I get the pro badge? I have GitHub Pro. So the way you get GitHub Pro for free actually is to get the GitHub student plan. It comes with Copilot for free and a bunch of other different services for free as well. I love, like, if there's anything that I really love the most is GitHub student plan and GitHub Pro. Literally such a free ski. What tutorials, blogs, or videos can you recommend for advancing your Flutter and Dart skills? It depends. What do you want to do? Do you already know how to build in Flutter? If so, I would say the best way to advance your skills is just to do shit yourself. And you can ask, I also like rubber duck with AI and like ask it questions that, hey, did I do this the right way? Is there a better way to implement this? Kind of come up with your own paradigms through that. I need a nuke to fix things, not code. Oh, then you must have some very, very serious problems if they need the entire, if you need to nuke the whole generation. But yeah. Were the project centered around developing a specific skill or just trying to solve the problem? The projects were centered around solving the problem, and the skills came as a course of it. Like for example, I literally wanted to build this entire application, and I kind of quote unquote created problems for myself. I actually had like I documented my entire journey, like developing the project. So I started in around December. I wrote articles back last year, and you can literally see like I explained, hey, this is why this application kind of sucks, and what I'm gonna do when I'm making the application, what are my principles, focus, scope, build from scratch, and all that stuff, right? And I'm this is literally what the application looked like in the early stage, right? And I'm going through that, and I'm like trying to figure out, hey, what do I want to dig deep in and learn how do you people even do that, and what do I want to like not challenge myself on. For example, the huge challenge I gave myself initially was that I was gonna make a drawing system on my own. As you can see, I made it on my own and it looks pretty cool, but boy, it was it a working hell to come up with. Um, so yeah. So honestly, it all depends. Believe I did learn a lot from like doing that entire thing and like going through the drawing system first was kind of fire. I think that's the best decision I ever made because it was quite a little bit of work, but it set up like I learned a lot from the mistakes I made during the drawing provider and all the drawing stuff rather. Um is it better to have the back and front end of a project and mobile app in one repo? I feel like it. Yeah, usually. I mean, if it's a mobile app, uh, usually the back and front end will be in one repo. Uh, Rarely in a mobile app are you just like raw dogging shit. You're most likely gonna be using like what Firebase, Superbase, maybe Convex if you're on native platforms. So it usually and those like usually on those services, you're just doing everything in a web console. Even you're not really like digging deep and doing like actual shit. So like everything should just be in one repo for the sake of your mental. Save your mental, right? How did this project help you stand out as a candidate when applying to jobs? I would say they definitely helped me stand out because, again, I'm 17, 18. If you gave this project to somebody who was in their 20s, sure, this might not make them stand out, but I'm a little kid, right? So, most people who were in high school hadn't even like written any code or haven't even done stuff. So, in particular, the main points about this part that made me stand out was number one, I was particularly vocal about it. As you can see, I was literally writing articles, and I bet like maybe only 20 people read it max, right? I was literally writing articles, making shit posting on LinkedIn, talking about it everywhere because I was really invested in it. So I advocated for myself using the project, and I just learned a lot through it. Like essentially, that's what made me stand out because I just went so far ahead through the project. Um, what do you think about getting into data science, ML? Is it still a viable field? I think it's definitely still a viable field, especially in this day and age. You're gonna need data for again, LLM is all huge blocks of data that happen to spit out the right numbers of stuff, right? So it's don't going to data science to ML is not a crazy thing. I would love to say that if you want to choose a job, please choose it into something that you are aligned towards so you don't end up getting burnout. A lot of people will say, oh, I don't want my hobby for a job. It doesn't have to be a hobby, but you need to choose something that you're aligned for and you're built for, right? You can be built for your hobby and you cannot be built for your for like a job, right? You need to make something you are built for, right? So it doesn't have to be something you like and like conceptually, right? I just happen to like programming and I happen to be mentally built for programming. So yeah, I heard they work you hard at Amazon. I mean, look, I haven't even like gotten on the job yet, and they're working me hard right now. Look, they had me make like a video, a sponsor video, a while ago, but I did get some amount of money from it, but it was fine. But I hope to not get AWS. If I get AWS, I'm actually gonna jump off the third bridge in my hand because AWS has just heard horror stories, but people always come in here and tell me, "Don't go to AWS." Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, I've heard you guys. I'll try my best not to be in there. Hope you enjoy your internship. Thank you, man. I'll make a bunch of videos, guys, so don't worry. You guys will know when it's happening. Firebase, no, I don't like Firebase. I do think Firebase has a specific benefits in the fact that hey, it's very easy to scale and very easy to get not to scale, very easy to like get into and get stuff rolling. And the main issue I have with Firebase is number one, security. It's really hard to understand. Hey, what security standards should I have in Firebase? It's you can secure Firebase, but there's not enough like documentation and talk about it on how to do that. And number two, Firebase's pricing is just absolutely shitty. You just get fucked in the ass once you get past like what 1,000 users or something. Like it's the pricing is not viable, and it's gonna kneecap your profits a lot. Um, what's the easiest then for Node.js and Next.js apps? I would say Convex DB is a huge W right now. I'm actually planning on using Convex on Icarus, through like a third party package. I'm probably gonna be partly maintaining as well. So Convex DB is a DB that lets you do live sync, but it also like has all of your DB schema directed like literally right into the code. So you don't really have to do much even on the fucking dashboard. All the things are in your code, and you can understand that, right? If everything is in your code and it's in plain text, that means AI models are able to like touch that and make changes to your DB and add functions to your DB really quickly. So it makes it way more easy to progress in Convex. And I've used Convex, and I really liked it for my separate project. What year do I graduate? I'm a class of 2029. So it's going to take a while for me to get there, and I'll probably be Unk. And then I'm going to pass on the torch to somebody else. Also, do I know NAN? Yes, I've used NAN for quite a little tool I had. So about like a month ago, I wanted to build a automated email triage tool. So a tool that would let me be able to like sort out my emails and all that stuff. And I use the NAN automation to do that. But eventually I paused that because of the fact that it was low-key getting too expensive, and I wanted to switch models to use what is it again? Not Kiro. Um, what is that Chinese model? It's not just DeepSeek. It's not. It's a blah, 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 artificial analysis AI. What's the freaking AI model I'm talking about? It's where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I can't find it. Wait, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Kimi K2. Yes, Kimi K2. Uh, guys, nobody know Kimi K2? Guys, chat. Are we all just Quen heads here? Oh yeah, Kimi K2 is right here. Look at this. Look at this boy. 6'7", number 6'7" for Kimi K2. Holy crapperoni. They gotta like make 6'7" the go to number. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. All right. But yeah, I think we got it to render. I would say the only way to fix the current issue we have right now is, as I said before, we have to like make the highlight work around this specific portion of the entire application. And that is actually not a bad thing, I think. I don't think it's horrible. In fact, actually, yeah, let's go about doing it right now. Except probably not. All right, so what we are gonna have to do for that is that we're gonna have to be able to pass, um, be able to. Oh wait, oh that is so easy. Wait, pause. That is so easy. If we can make sure to go into the agent builder, which would be, I guess, agent builder, agent feedback widget or whatever, right? Agent draggable, agent, let's do this with something simple. Which are the agents, honestly? So agent, widget, there it is, right? Genuinely, what are your thoughts on the future of NVIDIA GPUs? Okay, right now, I mean, in my current thoughts on NVIDIA GPUs is that they are sitting in a very comfortable spot in the market right now. There's not a lot of competitors, and the only competitors, because like, okay, NVIDIA right now, they are not lending compute. They are just selling hardware. All of the other people who are their quote unquote competitors are all selling or renting hardware and renting compute. They're not actually selling the actual chips to them. The only person who is doing that is Google. And Google literally just made a threatening ass play to NVIDIA about like 3 days ago, where they had a deal signed with Meta where they were going to send their TPUs to Meta. And NVIDIA stock price fucking plummeted like 3%, right? And y'all saw that bullshit, right? So I think currently their most viable competitor is Google with their TPUs, and I feel like if Google locks the fuck in again, because again they're pretty locked in again. Gemini 3 was absolutely amazing. Of course it's getting overshadowed because a bunch of other models are getting dropped at the same time as well. Like, can we rest, please, guys? Stop dropping new models. So yeah, and that's basically my entire shtick of it. Gemini, Google's really good at TPUs, and the entire NVIDIA success is based off the fact that we believe that GPUs are the only way to do AI. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a much more efficient way, as Google has shown with their TPUs and their own customized SoCs for that. So yeah. Is this HTML and this is Dart? Do you have any future marketing plans for this? I mean, we're doing it right now. But apart from that, I do plan on making an update video, because I did make a devlog video. The initial one, Loki, kind of flopped. I guess it had like what 1,800 views or something, which is not as much as I would love for it to be. And I believe my second iteration, when I do have online, I'm probably gonna make a devlog for that. And I have a bunch of TikTok clips to pull from as well, so it should be easy. Yeah, the video has 1,200. Am I neglecting the regular desktop gaming focus because there's no money in it? Yes. As somebody who has a 4070 and only bought a 4070 because I thought I was going to be able to use Blender, and I end up not using Blender anymore. Um, Nvidia should really lock the fuck in back on. Well, not really because it's not profitable for them, and I don't blame them for not going to gaming that too hard. But it shouldn't be fucking everybody else over. Is what I'm thinking. Dart, yeah, Dart is a language for the Flutter framework. The Flutter framework is a framework that allows people to develop applications on mobile, web, Mac OS, Linux, iPad OS. You can give it 10,000 names and it still does that, right? Uh, have you tried some 3D packages in Flutter, for example, Flutter Scene? No, not really. I haven't had any need to do 3D stuff. Uh, of course, they probably look cool as well. I just never had a need to do 3D stuff in Flutter. Hmm. Isn't it early preview? I do remember. Yeah, it's early preview. I wonder how performance it is. Yeah. Hey Dara, where am I based? I am based in the U.S. of A. What projects are you working on at Amazon? I haven't actually started at Amazon. The internship is gonna be next summer, in Seattle. So I will see you guys when I'm there. I think I should be able to talk about the stuff I'm working on, hopefully, depending on the team I'm on. And I'll just be like doing shit and like living the life, I guess. Why had you searched Julia? Because somebody was talking about Julia, like the programming language, and I was like confused. So I was trying to figure out what that was entirely. Um, was I gonna use Blender for it? Because I used to be into game dev, remember guys? I told you guys, I've been in tutorial hell multiple times because I've actually tried to acquire multiple different skills. I was into game development, so I got really into 3D modeling. And then I also got into really art and drawing. So I've literally like gone through like very different like spaces and everywhere. So I used to like do Blender and stuff, and I used to make 3D models. Bro, did you ever experience being burnt out from coding? Laziness is so hard to overcome, bro. Yes, I do get burnt out from coding for quite a bit. I think I had, as you can see, I had a month here where I did not program at all. Partially this was due because I was working on the video for my project, but also due to the fact that I just wanted to take a break. I've been working on this project consistently since November, right? For almost like half a year, and I wanted to like just take a break and jump off for like a month, and I did, and here I am back, right? So it's very important to understand that, like, try to figure out what feeling it is. Are you burnt out or are you lazy? And what is that laziness derived from? Are you trying to escape a problem within the program you're in? Like for example, I had a really egregious bug in Icarus that I couldn't fix. I couldn't like imagine myself fixing, and I just like didn't touch a project because of that, because I was scared that the bug might kill the entire project, right? And eventually when I came back and I really sat down and addressed those feelings, I kind of figured out, hey, I can probably fix this, and that I did fix. And it's so funny that I don't even remember what the bug was, but I distinctly remember the feeling that it gave me. So yeah, where'd I get my PFP from? So the thing that happened was that the way I got my PFP was that I was in a call with my friend, and then she like drew up like random personas, and I just like took that one and saved it, and like 5 years later I'm using it right now, which is really funny. Yo, bro, what's the key secret to getting to Amazon? Well, I got into Amazon by a little cheat. So I went in through the Amazon Future Engineer program. So the Amazon Future Engineer program is a program for people in the senior year of high school to apply, and they basically evaluate you on a bunch of different parameters: your academics, your projects, your LinkedIn, your GitHub, all that jazz. And they only choose 400 people a year, and I was one of those 400 people. So that's how I got into Amazon, essentially. Um, do you use Windsurf? I did use Windsurf for a tad of a second, but I ended up falling off from it. Because didn't the Windsurf's team get entirely fucked? Like they literally they got like poached, absolutely poached by I don't remember what uh who poached them entirely. I think it was Meta. Was it Meta? I don't remember. They got poached. I do remember that though. And it was kind of bad. Windsurf. I got an offer from AWS S3 team, but I went with Meta. Yeah, you made a good choice. Because I've heard people talk about like AWS a lot, and all I've heard is like work ethic bad, working too much, blah blah blah. Now Google anti gravity, okay, that makes sense. So Google poached them. That makes sense. Uh, so yeah, I mean we got the rendering done. I was gonna look at the agent widget, right? Okay, so we're gonna have to find a way to pass down the state of whether or not this is the. Ooh, hold on, I could cheat this. I like. Oh, except we can't do ref in here, can we? Okay, I want to look at the other ones, which is um Square, uh, custom Square widget provider, consumer widget. I like these. I like these a lot. Oh my god! Wait, I'm so excited because this makes it easy to add that feature I wanted to add. Tutorial hell is so terrible. Why does this occur every time I want to learn a new skill? Risky void. I'm telling you, as somebody who's done that shit, just break away. Find something you want to do and just build it and go through the entire stress and the struggle and the toil and the pain of building it, and you will come out independent and with enough confidence and motivation in yourself to do that for every single thing, every other thing. And that is just like the entire model for that. Um, any good AI coding agents? I mean, right now the current pretty good ones are okay. Gemini 3 Pro was pretty good. GPT 5 is good. It's my daily, and then Claude 4.5 is also good. Apart from those top three, I guess what is it? Cursor and their little model they just released is also fine. I mean, it's good for little small little tidbits, but it's not good for full on like vibe coding with that depth and breadth because he often just like makes mistakes. But it is fast as fuck. I would say that. Um, how hard was my Amazon interview? I didn't have to take one actually because I went through the Amazon Future Engineer program. It's a program for people in the senior year of high school to reapply, and then they evaluate your resume, your academics, your GitHub, your LinkedIn, whatever the crap you put in there. You have to write 3 essays as well. And they only pick 400 people every year, and I was one of the 400 people. And that's how I got into Amazon, basically. Um, have I tried GLM 4.6? No, absolutely not. Uh, DeepSeek is the goat in China right now. Really? What about Kimi K2, bro? Kimi K2 is looking good at as well. I guess I haven't heard much news from DeepSeek lately. Low key, is Grok good for coding? Yeah, Grok is low key goaded. Not just Grok one. I mean, Grok fast is goaded. Do you want to let me tell you why? The reason why Grok fast is goaded is because not only is it like again really smart, but it's also fast as fuck, right? And so I believe what they had done was that they had the initial Grok model. The initial Grok model had a lot of issues. Number one, it was pricey. Number two, was slow as fuck. So they essentially distilled that into a smaller model that kept almost nearly the same intelligence, but has the speed as well. And speed is really important, and also token cost. It's also cheaper than Grok 1 entirely, right? So that's why Grok 1 fast is the GOAT, essentially. Um, is being an Amazon intern stressful? Well, I don't know yet. It's gonna be next summer in Seattle, so I will give you my opinion on how stressful it is after that entire shtick has passed and is long gone. Um, what is the best AI coding agent? I mean, it all depends on what your coding style is. Like for me, I like to think of my AI agent as something that does the exact task I ask it to and does not go beyond. That's why I like to use GPT-5. I like to chill on, like, yeah, hey, do this exact thing and don't do anything else. Okay? And some people don't really like to have control over the agents. They want the agents to do whatever the fuck they want. And so like they might use Claude. Or they might use like Claude Code or whatever. Like it's all depends on you. And that's the thing about like AIs nowadays, that like it's not, there's no objective measurements. Yes, there are objective benchmarks of, hey, does it pass this test or whatever, but like in terms of like a wider scale of things, some people might feel like some other AI agents are like much more suited for them, especially when the margin of intelligence between them is so thin. So that's my answer for that question. That is. Am I familiar with automation tools like GHL and N8N? I'm familiar with N8N, but I don't know about GHL. I barely code, but with AI, but I do let AI explain the code to me a lot. Yes, that's a huge meta. That's a good job on you, and I feel like that's something that a lot of this new generation should take into the coding space to becoming better programmers. I love Claude Opus and GPT. Really, I haven't tried Opus yet. Opus just came like what 3 days ago. I haven't like had time to sit down and really vibe code max and figure out how I feel about Opus. So I'll definitely look into some benchmarks. I know it is like more intelligent than Sonnet, so I would assume it's more intelligent than GPT-5 as well. I mean, okay, so here it is, literally. All right, so we have GPT-5 high. So, Gemini 3 Pro is more intelligent than Sonnet. Holy crap! Okay, that makes sense. Okay, wow, that's cool. All right, duly noted. Um, bro, I'm trying to build a simple tool on my system Mac. Should I use Lovable or Cursor? But use Cursor. You're trying to build a tool on your Mac OS on your device. Lovable is only for web, so you want to use Cursor. What site is that? This is called Artificial Analysis. It's a research company that does a bunch of AI and analysis stuff. It has a bunch of different graphs. Honestly, they're the goats. I love their entire like benchmarking stuff. They have a whole bunch of data. Of course, it takes quite a bit to navigate the site and to know what's going on. But whenever I want to reference stuff for LLMs, instantly go here. I can get what the fuck I'm looking for. Uh, so yeah. Thanks, bro. Hi. No, got you. Are you Nigerian? Your name sounds like a Yoruba name. Yeah, I'm Nigerian. My mom and dad are Nigerian. Live coding bench. Yeah, so like this is like all like you can see every single freaking graph and every single thing, and you can figure that out like just through that process. What framework do you use for machine learning training? I don't do machine learning, guys. I'm just a noob. I only use AI. I use AI to make GPT wrappers chat. I'm not good enough to like actually do the actual stuff that makes the AI tick, you'd say. Um, but yeah, I'm low key. I low key gotta go eat some Thanksgiving food. I'll be gone for like an hour and a half, and I'll come back and get on stream back again. So if y'all want to catch on to that, follow me. If you want to talk to me outside of stream, join my Discord. I'll answer some. I'll say for like 3 minutes to answer some questions, so y'all don't feel like left out. How am I internet on Amazon with no coding knowledge? Uh, how do you pass the technical? Okay, number one, I do not have no coding knowledge, chat. I think I'm pretty respectable on my knowledge of programming, right? In terms of that, the way I got into Amazon was that I went through the Amazon Future Junior program. The Amazon Future Junior program is a program for people in their senior year of high school who are able to, what is it? When in senior year of high school and they have to apply, they evaluate you on your academics, your GitHub projects, your LinkedIn, your like everything you put in and you dump in. And what is it? And then you have to write 4 essays as well. And then they only choose 400 people in the United States. I was one of them. You said you make GPT rappers with AI. I assume you didn't even code. No. I was trolling. I was trolling. No. I'm anti GPT rapper. I don't think I've ever made a GPT rapper actually. No, actually, I did. I did once for a hackathon, and it was a pretty complex GPT rapper because like we were doing a PDF form filling voice assistant thing, and the only thing we used AI for was literally the voice assistant part, and we had to do a bunch of stuff in there like Azure form recognizer and getting like plotting points with Python and making like some crazy bullshit. Like that night was such a nightmare because I remember like we had our project like 70% done, and we said we're gonna go sleep for 2 hours. 2 hours, bro. And then we wake up 30 minutes before the deadline, and I see my partner on the floor with the computer in his hand, just like asleep. I'm like, fuck, we're cooked. Oh, you're an internet at Jane Street? Holy W. Nice job. We should collab, bro. My AI prof was an ex applied scientist at Amazon. He's investing on in our startup. Yo, Loki, just hit me up. Hit me up on email or follow me on TikTok, and I'll follow you back. And you can DM me about that. Uh, but yeah, look, you gotta grab some Thanksgiving eats. I will be back in like an hour and a half. And then we'll continue the chat from there, guys. Nice seeing ya. Do you need a degree to work at Amazon? It depends on what part of Amazon. Amazon is a large, very large business, so you don't need a degree to work as a delivery driver. I'm going to lend you guys in on this funny joke actually. So in the Amazon Future Engineer program, one of the actual people within the program, one of the ex alumni, they had a letter of employment come from delivery services, like a fulfillment services, which was funny as fuck because they were applying for the sweet role, right? And like it was like wholly cooked, and that was just like a funny thing, right? Um, so yeah, basically, um, if you probably do need a degree, I don't know if they require a degree, so I haven't done some research into that, but definitely look into it. I think it's gonna be definitely harder to get in without a degree. So that's just my little like 1-2 piece on that. Uh, but yeah, we'll be back in like an hour and a half. And yeah, see you guys. That was my largest grossing live stream. I had like 43 followers in 2 minutes. I'm done. Oh shit, I forgot I'm on YouTube. Oh, freaking back it. That's fine.